friends, welcome back to section 1 of our beginner's guide on how to draw, and this is episode 3. In this episode, we are going to be considering how to handle a pencil. Now, what if I tell you this is the very best way a professional should handle a pencil while drawing? I'm not kidding. You might think of me as a fool, right? Let's find out. Now, welcome back. Now, it will be heartwarming to know that what I told you previously pertaining how to handle a pencil was completely rubbish. This is not how a professional handles a pencil. So, how do you actually handle a pencil as a beginner who wants to become a professional? While you can hold your pencil whichever way you please, nobody is going to arrest you for it. There are specifically 2 ways you can handle your pencil to ease your drawing experience and get better sketches when you draw. The first method is the normal way you know, which is the tripod grip, holding it from the tip like this. And the second is the overhand grip like this, as you can see. Come on. Like this, holding it with all your fingers and extended backwards, not holding it from the tip. So now, the basic idea about these 2 ways of holding pencil all depends on what you want to sketch on the paper or the kind of lines you are creating, starting with the tripod grip or handling your pencil from the tip. Now, starting with your tripod grip, it works best when you are working in a limited area and you are not worried about creating thick strokes when you are drawing, and especially when you are making very nice details in a limited area. That is where your tripod grip comes to play. It works best because you don't necessarily need to move your hand to every single area while drawing. Now, switching over to your overhand grip, it works best when you are trying to cover large grounds and maybe trying to get thin and very straight lines. Now, never try to use tripod grip to get straight lines. It's not always nice because even if you try to move your hand, it limits you. Now, here is the fact. When you try to draw with your tripod grip, your hand is kind of limited. Your wrist over here is limited. It doesn't enable you move so far away. So when you draw here, you will need to move your hand a little bit and then try to pull it out. But with your overhand grip, you have that free flow to easily place your pencil and then draw straight all the way through without cutting from different areas to get to that line. Now, while you use your overhand grip, you don't just use this area, neither your ankle. You are using your entire arm. This gives you the flexibility and the ability to create very thin lines because your hand is not pressured or pressed on the paper. Now, with your tripod grip, it's a lot harder to create very tiny strokes. Even if you are trying to create tiny strokes, it will not easily come by when creating them. But with your overhand grip, you can easily just create those nice tiny groups. And as well, slanting your pencil to create very nice effect or thicker strokes if you want to. Now, with it, you can create very large area shadings with your pencil, just the way it goes. So now, just imagine you want to create this kind of shading over here with your tripod grip. You find it very hard to make that kind of shading that appears smooth, and you cannot create a large area shading because your pencil is kind of tilted upward and you can't easily bring it down to cover a larger area. Now, as a beginner, these are the 2 basic ways you handle your pencil while drawing. It is one thing to understand how to handle these pencils, either a tripod method or an overhand grip. It is still another to know how to move your hands while handling them this way. Now, when it comes to the tripod grip, it is majorly limited to your wrist because it just gives you the ability to work in a particular location and you can easily draw with that. But when it comes to the overhand grip, a lot of persons tend to find it a little bit difficult. Now, it is much easier to move just your wrist here, less easier to move your ankle here, but when it comes to moving your entire arm, it becomes a problem. Now, while using your overhand grip, you don't just move your wrist or move this ankle here. You are trying to move the entire arm. Always have this in mind. Now, it takes practice for you to master this process. Try to draw with your entire arm rather than using your wrist, because even if you handle this the overhand method and you are limiting your joint movement to just this area, you are not going to cover better grounds. But with your entire arm moving, you are going to get nicer circles, shape, and then movement of lines to create those perfect artwork. Now, as a beginner, to train your hand to master the overhand grip method, here is something you can do. Try to draw circles, tiny little circles, and try to create perfect ones as much as you can. And as well, try to draw squares and rectangles based on what you prefer in your head. Another thing you can do is try to draw tiny little dots, and as well try to connect these dots using your overhand grip method, moving your hand like this all through. Now, doing this will enable you know how to move your hand all through, so you can keep drawing tiny dots and try to connect them. Any area you noticed you were able to match the two lines using your overgrip method, you can score yourself good. And the areas you missed, you can actually score yourself bad. Like this area, it was unable to touch, so you can fail yourself. You see this area, I think this line is bad. I think this one was able to match up so good. Now, for one thing, while doing it, if you notice that you're very bad at it, you don't need to worry, because even myself, the ones I failed are even more than the ones I passed. So you can use that as an excuse for your plastic la la la. Did I say failure? Now, mistakes and failing is consistent when you learn. It's part of the process that cooks you to become a professional artist. That is how every professional artist you see out there learn. So just have that in mind and don't take this personal. So now, with all that said, if you have a question, make sure to drop a comment in the comment section and I'm going to reply you. I'm Do Blinks and this is Links Art. Here I give you tips, tricks and techniques to get your artworks done in no time. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on all the notifications so you don't miss any of my videos when I upload them. Till I see you next time, or till I see you in the next episode, goodbye and keep